I don't much care for horror movies. They scare my dog, and ooh, and old Blue gets
They
scared.
scare my dog.
He let out some gas.
Oh my god.
Sound like a...
Did you start going through a shitload of nightmares when you started your CPAP therapy?
Yeah, I did. The first week.
Isn't that weird?
It's all, is it all like
weird.
Isn't that weird?
It's all like facehugger, like alien dreams.
Dude, pretty much it's like who the fuck is on me? Ah! I'll still wake up and just be so pissed off or like defensive because I'm like, there's something trying to suck my soul out of my mouth.
So tell me again how this machine is good for you to sleep.
Well, it's not at first. It fucking sucks.
You're recording. This is taking recording time. You know how much tape you're wasting?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cult of Horror. We are a semi-monthly, I think that's right, because bi-monthly is every other month, but we're a semi-monthly podcast that talks about horror movies and horror movie accessories.
Stuff.
Is it bi-monthly, twice a month?
Bi-monthly generally means every other month. We are semi-monthly, so we do it twice a month
I think that's what bi-monthly means.
No.
Yeah, literally. It does.
We can Google this right the fuck now.
I get my paycheck bi-monthly. I get paid twice a month.
Man, that's bullshit.
He's going to Google it. Moving on.
So anyways, I'm Eric.
So I'm Hunter, and that guy over there, the third guy with the voice,
sweet guy.
That's Elliot.
I don't think I've ever announced my own name. I'm trying to keep that trend for as many years as I can.
Nice. Speaking of cults, one of the movies you're talking about today has a little bit about cults, right?
Anaconda? What cult?
Literally none of the movies I'm going to talk about have to do with cults.
Aren't you going to talk about...
Oh, that fucking movie? Never mind, yeah. It's got
Are you still talking about it? You don't have to talk about it.
I'll talk about it.
I thought you were going to.
That's how I live my life. I haven't given a fuck since 1986.
God damn it. So...
Peed my pants that day.
Fucking shit.
Off to a banging start. Checking both boxes, baby.
Have y'all seen the trailer for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
I have not.
I saw it and I'm extremely disappointed.
Really?
Yep, it's basically the movie Goosebumps. It's the Goosebumps of Scary Stories.
No, yeah.
It shouldn't be that. It should be like...
What should it be?
Something more gooder, like an anthology or something. It's Jumanji, but with the Scary Stories books, and looks terrible.
It's Jumanji.
Yeah, it's fucking
those
Jumanji.
Are children's stories, dude.
Yeah, they're also children's story.
You know.
Like, what do you expect? Because I expect it to be PG-13.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I didn't expect fucking Goosebumps.
It's scarier than Goosebumps already.
Nah.
What was that popular Nickelodeon show where they would like?
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah, I felt it was going to be that.
I think Are You Afraid of the Dark is going to be like way more scary than the Scary Stories. I'm already over it. Like, I'll see it probably because I have to for this podcast. But I want to. I'm more interested in the documentary.
We're gonna force you.
Well, I'm sure we're gonna review it, but there's a Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark documentary circulating, which I'm more interested in seeing.
Yeah, I actually follow that one on Instagram. I want to see it.
Yeah, I'm like, where is that at?
I don't know.
Is it even? It might not be out yet, but that's probably gonna be the way better movie.
But the Guillermo del Toro one, it's a TV series.
No, it's a movie.
No.
And he's only like a producer on it.
Speaking of that,
greatest Mexican.
That's all he does anymore.
Well, it seems like that's what a lot of the older directors and shit are doing. They're just producing and kind of overseeing it. I don't know if it's like they've run out of ideas and they just want to,
I think it's more like, hey, I'm fucking big. You should do this. You can put my name on it if you want, but I'm not going to be involved.
Yeah, probably. Have y'all heard of Dreadful Bond? Dreadful Bond.
I like that band.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're like, what is that? The shoegaze you like?
What? I'm literally talking about a video game. And you're...
Oh.
Oh, so it's like GoldenEye.
Shit. No,
I thought you were talking about that Portuguese ska band.
I am not.
Is it that industrial one-man band
No.
on Relapse?
No.
I don't know.
So Dreadful Blonde is a video game in the works with producer Dario Argento.
Never heard of him.
How does he know what a video game is?
Great question.
Someone told him something, and it was like, I'll do that.
The video game looks crazy as shit. Basically, Dario Argento is overseeing everything visual about this game. Not sure how, but
It's going to be on Super Nintendo, Sega
yeah,
Channel.
it's I think it's on
Dreamcast?
PC actually. It's
It's a
going
Dreamcast
to be
game?
like a. It's by the way, it's a Kickstarter. I think there's only a few more weeks left
Why are
to
we talking
even.
about this?
Huh?
Why are we even talking about this then?
Because it's a horror game.
It's on fucking Kickstarter.
It's not real.
It's not. It's
Yeah, that's
fucking
true.
Let me
idea on the
stop you
internet.
right there and ask you if you saw that Michael versus Jason fan film. That
No.
I saw a clip of it. It
I,
looks
I
pretty
saw
decent.
it. It's Australian.
No shit.
Takes place in America, but everybody has Australian accents.
Really?
It's Australian made, but
Oi.
for like
Oi.
for a fan film, it was pretty alright.
Yeah, I've
was-
never seen a fan film that I've been like, oh, that's fucking tight.
That other Jason fan film that
Which one's that?
like Don't Hike Alone or whatever.
Don't hack the what?
Don't hike alone.
alone.
That
I've
was
never heard of that.
It was pretty fucking good. This one was alright. It was budget. It was super budget, but it was like Michael Myers and Jason like shoving each other around.
Yeah.
Nice.
Out of my face, mate.
Did you see that they're remaking The Craft?
Yeah, I wonder what production company is gonna be behind that misfortune.
Blumhouse, probably.
What? I'm shocked. I'm just kidding. I knew that before I stated what I said. I already knew it.
For those of you who don't know who Blumhouse is, they pretty much put out most of the current horror movies. Like, they did the remake of It. They did the Halloween reboot.
Conjuring universe, isn't that?
Yeah, the Conjuring.
Yeah, The
universe.
Conjuring.
Conjuring universe.
That's Blumhouse. Insidious. But they also do, like, Happy Death Day and also...
They also make good movies.
They also make...
Still wait.
They make good movies, and then they make train wrecks like Truth or Dare.
Say what you will, they're working hard to keep the genre.
They really
alive.
are. Honestly, they're
I
the
respect
best.
them.
I will say this: they're the best production company out right now, despite what Elliot thinks.
Yeah, Jason like Blossom from the Blossom House production. Like he really likes horror movies. Like so.
No, he really does.
At least he's like doing something, and they're gonna be putting out the Spawn reboot. So
And
like at least he's trying. Like A for effort.
Speaking about Jason Blum, he really does like horror movies. He really also likes B movies.
Yeah, it's like your movie sucks. He's like, I know, right? It was cool. You see that guy's head pop up? It's like, you're a nerd.
Honestly, Blumhouse is very low budget. It's like
It's just like, we got 50 grand to anybody that can make a decent movie, and go.
straight up,
Yeah,
which
we're-
is that's not a bad way
Not a
to
bad
do
way.
it
We're
because you're
gonna
gonna get some hits off
oversaturate
that.
the market with garbage, okay? And then when we make a movie that's half
Hey,
of
man.
these, it's gonna blow.
If
But
you're
here's
gonna
the
hit a
deal.
home run, you gotta swing, baby.
But
Fucking
here's the
A.
deal about why I like that with Blumhouse. Like, if y'all remember, y'all are older than me. There used to be some really good, like, one-off, made-for-TV horror movies, and you can never find them ever again. They don't have that as much anymore. They have it on, like, Sci-Fi and shit like that, or
Well-
Freeform, or whatever the fuck it's called now.
TV as it exists isn't
Is
really the
dead.
same anymore.
Yeah.
Netflix and all that.
But
all
even
the
then,
streaming.
Netflix isn't funding horror movies as much as like cable was. You know, like so we're actually missing out on a lot of that. Like having a consistent channel where I could watch weird shit and like sci-fi shit and horror shit. That's something that really made me stay into horror when I was younger. Like it keeps you going. So I like that they're doing that. I think it's needed for the future. But Blumhouse also does the Into the Dark series on Hulu.
Some of them are pretty good.
Yeah, some of them are pretty good, which we haven't really talked about it too much. But that's mostly because there's not really a lot to talk about. Basically, Into the Dark, they come out with a different episode, which is actually a movie on Hulu every month. And they're supposed to be themed around the holidays that they're released. So there's only been like 2 or 3 really decent ones.
What the hell did Treehouse have to do with anything in March?
Arbor Day.
Arbor Day,
I don't
dog.
think it's in March.
Treehouse was probably my least favorite.
That's the only thing that I don't know. I mean, did they just happen to go, it's March 12th?
Even though, doesn't March have St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
All right, they fucked up. So
Boomhouse fucked up.
If I had to recommend some of the episodes to watch,
Not likely.
I would pretty much only recommend Puka and this movie I'm about to talk about, which is I'm Just Fucking With You. It just came out for April. It's like April Fool's Day based. The movie is like basically the premise of Psycho, but it's like a black comedy. The main guy, who was, I guess, in a lot of like Comedy Central shows is like the background character. He's fucking hysterical. And he really keeps you like guessing and you really want to finish watching this movie. But yeah, Puka and I'm Just Fucking With You. Those are the ones I would recommend out of Into the Dark. Anyway, so today I'm going to talk about something that has had a little bit of buzz on Netflix. It's a new Blumhouse film that's exclusive to Netflix called Mercy Black. And
So the big thing about it was that nobody really knew this movie was coming out. It kind of was just a surprise to everybody.
That's
yeah,
what
they
Blumhouse
just were
keeps
like,
doing.
surprise! Mercy Black!
And
Slender
so
Man.
it's trending right now on Netflix. You may have heard of it, you may have not. And I'm going to kind of go over a little bit about what it's about. So it starts with a woman who, when she was younger, she and some friends got together and tried to summon what is essentially a female Slender Man. They ended up sacrificing one of the friends to this creature, which they called Mercy Black. And the protagonist, she went to an asylum for years, like 15 years, something like that. She's just now getting out, and she's terrified. She doesn't think she needs to be out. She thinks that she needs to stay in rehabilitation. And she hasn't had the internet or any interaction with the outside world whatsoever. But now she's thrust back into the normal world and has to relearn how to live and how to live with everybody knowing what she did. You know, essentially, stuff starts to happen to where, it kind of makes you think, like, is Mercy Black real? Is Mercy Black not real? What it comes down to is essentially it's Slender Man.
It's very much the story of the preteen girls who killed their friend for Slender Man to summon Slender Man.
It's
That's
pretty much
literally
just
what
that
it is.
story, yeah.
And then they just ran with it.
Yeah.
It was a decent movie. I sat through it.
So here's the deal.
It's better than Slender Man.
It's better than Slender Man. I will say the ending threw me for a loop. I was like, what the fuck? And it did get pretty crazy, but the ride, I just sat through it. I wouldn't say it was a well-executed story. I mean, realistically, the reviews right now are giving it like a 5. I would probably give it like a 2 or a 3, like Slender Man. But since it got a little more creative, I would say I'd probably give it like a 5, yeah.
I'd have to agree. 5.1.
Yeah. So since this movie isn't really... I don't like to end on negative notes. Like, I don't want to talk about a movie that is just okay. That I want to talk about a movie that I want to recommend to y'all. So Eric and I watched a movie recently that is also getting a little bit of buzz, which is called The Wind. Now, this movie is pretty freaking good. I will just start with that.
And there is wind.
And there is
you
wind.
wanted to know.
I'll be damned. I'll be goddamn wind in a wind movie.
Do you know who produced The Wind or any backstory?
IFC Midnight?
Oh, IFC? Midnight?
Yeah, it's IFC Midnight movie.
Yeah, IFC Midnight is putting out fairly great films.
You're doing a better
Yes and
job
no.
than Blumhouse right now.
I would say that consistently. So The Wind is about 2 couples that live on the prairie in the 1800s, right?
That is correct.
So, how would you describe it?
You know, it's around that migration period, the 1800s, where people from the east are moving west and out in the prairie. It's, you know, desolate. This couple has already kind of started their home, and the main character being the wife, she's got some issues. And a new couple that was moving out west has set up ground next to them. And that couple has their issues, and it's kind of escalating the woman's. And there's a lot of supernatural shit going on in that area that they decided to live on.
And that's the thing, like, this movie, it tries to trick you. It really tries to get under your skin and get you to question, is this real? Or is this, you know, more of like a psychosis that is derived from being isolated?
It goes back and forth between, is there a real supernatural element or is she losing her mind?
Yeah, but this movie does it really well because you have the insanely creepy atmosphere and setting of the prairie in the 1800s, where it's just nothing but you in the middle of nowhere in your little cottage. It does a great job of building dread.
The atmosphere is fantastic.
It's a little slower. I would say if you're looking for like a heart-pounding bloodbath, probably want to wait until you're more in a mellow mood to watch it, but just give it a chance and go along for the ride. It's one of my favorites this year so far. I was hooked in the first like 10 minutes, which is hard to do for me.
So it's probably kind of like The Witch.
It's more like Little House on the Prairie, but
with supernatural.
I saw the trailer a couple weeks ago and I was really stoked about it. And it actually kind of reminded me of like the Hilary Swank, Tommy Lee Jones movie, The Homesman, where it's about the isolation of like young couples on the plains, and the women start going mad, and then eventually Hilary Swank has to take them to a sanatorium.
Oh, wow.
But it seems like this would be an instant in like one of those houses, kind of dealing with the isolation and like the psychosis.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see it though.
It's actually really rare that Elliot watches a trailer and he's just like, oh, fuck yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, there was another trailer I saw that I didn't think was a real movie.
Which one?
The Silence. I thought it was. It popped up on YouTube. I clicked on it and I thought it was like an SNL like digital short like fake trailer, and because it's like, well, Stanley Tucci basically doing a Quiet Place thing, and then like fucking like baby pterodactyls attack the car. I thought it was fake. And I didn't watch the end of the trailer because I was like, I don't got time for this. I'm trying to do something.
Do we want to talk about this while we're on the topic? I think I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, watch The Wind, watch The Silence. If you really have to.
That's all you're going to say on it?
I didn't really enjoy it. I mean, I saw it with my wife. She thought it was okay, but she's able to look past a lot of things. It kind of gave me that vibe of those like 90s dinosaur movies.
Yeah,
and, like mixed in
like
with a
Godzilla,
Quiet Place.
Like almost a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a huge just grab at the whole Bird Box Quiet Place thing, and then they throw some C-list actors in there.
Now, hold
Stanley
on.
Tucci's not C-list.
He's not C-list.
He's not A-list.
Fucking
he's
dude, that's
probably
A-list
A-list.
as fuck.
He's a character actor. He's not A-list.
One thing that was interesting, and I think Elliot told me about it. So, Quiet Place, right? John Krasinski made A Quiet Place, and Emily Blunt has a brother-in-law, Stanley Tucci.
They're brother and sister-in-laws.
But Tucci's in The Silence.
Fucking
and
Illuminati,
it's not
bro.
the same movie.
Fucking Illuminati.
That's what I'm getting. Thank you.
Is that what you're getting at? Or are you getting at that it's going to be an awkward fucking Thanksgiving when John Krasinski's like, dude, I'm making a sequel to my movie. What's up? Your movie's terrible? Cool.
Illuminati Thanksgiving, yes.
I told you gave away too much. Should have put newspapers
That's
on the
the
wall.
title to the
Fucking
episode.
bats, dude. Fucking dinosaur bats. Suck a dick, Tucci. Get out of my house.
The one thing that bugged me... So if you don't know about The Silence, I guess we're talking about it now. Eric, it was actually a book, right?
Yes, it was actually a book. So this is based on a book that came out before the idea of A Quiet Place and Bird Box. Mm-hmm. So this preceded everything. But I guess it just took so long to make, or they're just cashing in on Quiet Place, Bird Box kind of roller coaster, and they hopped on that. But I mean, basically the movie is some explorers in a cave busted open this cave, and and these prehistoric kind of bat pterodactyl things.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
like
it's piranha.
It's piranha in the sky.
It's piranha in the sky.
Piranha.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Solid
pretty
choice.
much.
Like they call them like vesps, which is Italian for wasp, which doesn't make any fucking sense. They have no stingers.
They explain that they do that because of how they swarm. But they're these creatures that developed and kind of, what's the word?
Mutated?
Sucked.
No. Whatever. They developed in this cave, and now they're being released by the billions, apparently.
Yeah, no shit. One fucking rock and they get all out.
Just like bats, I mean, they're completely blind. They have no eyes.
Yeah.
They hunt by sound. So all of a sudden, these are released into cities, and you have to figure out how to be silent and not be eaten by pterodactyl bats.
And the thing about this movie
then there's a cult.
God damn. And then
There's a cult who has cut their tongues out because this is the end of the world. It's the apocalypse. I guess God brought this upon everybody.
Yeah.
So they have to be silent.
Yeah.
Only the silent will survive.
Which the cult is the saving grace of this movie.
It's the only real creepy part. I mean, other
yeah.
than being eaten by dinosaurs.
Well, the tone of the first half of the movie is monster apocalypse in like the survival type of way.
I would have been okay with that.
I didn't like that. I didn't like it.
I would have been
I don't think
okay
they
if
did
that
it
was the
well.
whole fucking movie.
At
They
all.
didn't mix the two well. It was just like all of a sudden they're have gotten a safe ground and it looks like they're gonna survive. And oh yeah, there's a cult.
That sounds like a fucking book.
It is the book.
No, but I'm saying that sounds like when you read a book and you're like, oh, halfway through a fucking cult shows up. I hate this book. Yeah.
That's kind of how.
That's kind of what it is. Yeah.
And then it ended. And then it just fucking ended.
Yeah, and then it just fucking ended. So that's the thing. This movie's not very good.
Let's not beat around
you can
the
miss
bush.
this movie.
This movie's not very
You
good
can
at all.
absolutely miss this movie. One thing that really bugs me, Eric, they did not act like Sabrina the Teenage Witch was deaf. Like that, there was
Yeah.
no consistency with that.
No, there wasn't.
Is that a spoiler?
No, it's the girl's deaf. The main girl's deaf. Same
She
plot as
lost
The
her
Quiet
hearing
Place.
in a car accident, I guess, as a teenager. So
Yeah.
she has the ability to speak, but she can't hear.
So that's all we're going to say about The Silence. The Silence does have a lot of buzz on it too right now. Actually, probably more than Mercy Black.
Everything
It does.
Hunter says has buzz.
That's all I got to say about that.
I hate you.
You're fucking fired.
Oh my god. All right, moving on
Dad
to
bod, dad jokes.
fucking asshole. But you're right. Moving on, we're going to go over to Eric and he's going to talk to us about a little thing.
Welcome to Eric's Subtitle Corner.
Welcome to Eric's Corner.
I'm not going to read this
I'm
podcast
going
off.
to give you something to watch that requires subtitles.
Fuck.
Hey, you like Gaspar Noé films?
Yes. Did you watch Climax?
No, but this is similar. So this movie's called Alleluia, which is a French movie, or Belgium. Belgish.
Nice fact checking,
Belgish,
yeah.
or one of those two. They speak French.
Belgian.
Could be Canadian. I don't know.
Who's to say?
Northern French Canadian
So
film.
this is made by the same guy who made Calvire.
What?
Okay, never mind. So this movie's based on the what do they call them? The fucking honeymoon killers or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Lovers Lane killers or whatever the fuck they call them. So basically this movie has two main characters, Gloria and Michelle. Gloria is this single mother. She's like in her 40s and she's hungry for love.
Fucking A, man.
So she's, her
Preach,
friend
brother.
convinces her to go on like a dating site and they find Michelle on there. Well, Michelle is this con man who
Nice.
basically goes after lonely women to seduce them and take their money. Fucking match made in heaven, right? So they go on their first date. And one of the weird things that I kind of liked about it is every time Michelle is going to go on one of these dates, he does this like little ritual where he takes their picture, he does his little prayer, and then burns it. Mm-hmm. And I think that was like the horror element of it. And
You just watch a rom-com in French and he's like, I'll talk about this.
it's kind of like that. But he goes on a date with her, and she's like immediately in love with him, spends the night with him, leaves her fucking daughter with him after like one night.
Nice.
And when she comes home, he's like she had gone through her shit and realized, she ain't shit, so kind of wasting my time. He like takes off, and she catches him and he's leaving, and he's like, oh, I gotta go because I need money right now. And she's like, I got some money, here's some money. Oh yeah, I'll call you later. And he just takes off, and of course she's all like obsessed with him, and he doesn't call in days, and you see her like fucking going nuts.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
she finds him on a date with another woman that he's about to seduce. Mm-hmm. And he confesses to her exactly what he's doing. And because she's fucking nuts, she goes, hey, I'll be your partner. So then it's split up in 4 acts. Each act is based on a woman that together they go seduce. And it tells 3 different little stories. That part I didn't really like because they don't give you a time reference. You don't know how much time has gone by between the women.
So it's kind of like House of the Jack built a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. She's all, down for it until he's got to bang these chicks. And that's when her fucking jealous rage comes out, and she ends up killing them.
Nice.
And they move on from one to another. But it's really fucking erotic. It's really sexual. You feel the tension that she has, and it kind of makes you start questioning, like, who's really the villain of the two? Is it him for seducing her and getting her to follow this lifestyle? Or is she the one that's pushing him to do all this shit? It has a pretty decent ending, and I really enjoyed this movie. It keeps you watching all the way through. That's what kind of reminded me of like a Gaspar Noé film. So if you like those kinds of films, I'd really recommend this. It's a little artsy, heavy on the sex. It's not a porn movie. It's just has like its erotic moments.
It's just nymphomaniac.
Very sensual moments.
It's European.
It's exactly. It's European. Yeah.
Because they don't have God over there.
Yeah. Atheists. And so yeah, it's called Alleluia. I think it was on Prime. So I really recommend this movie. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
That's cool.
It's like a really cool scene where she's like shoving her foot in his mouth, and yeah, I like that part.
So would you say if you're in the mood for like an erotic, sick movie, this is that?
Yes.
That's what it seems like. If you're into foot mouth.
You're in the foot mouth stuff.
And for the mothers at home, I would recommend Heartbreakers with Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Hewitt. It's the same premise, but you'll love it way more.
It's literally not the same premise.
I know.
I feel offended.
I was joking.
I take my European films serious, sir.
No shit. That's the only thing you take
Don't
serious.
show my subtitles.
All right, I'll give you another movie that's in English that you guys should watch.
Yeah, sure.
That got a little bit of buzz. It didn't get too much buzz, but it should get some buzz because I liked it.
You like
This
Buzz?
episode's going to be called Buzz.
The Pledge. Have you guys heard about that movie, The Pledge?
Oh yeah.
They just released it on Hulu. College teens horror movie. It's Pledge Week. These 3 nerds are trying to get into a fraternity.
Fucking nerds.
Yeah, and they're like, you could tell it's straight up one of those fucking like, we're gonna fuck with these nerds fraternity thing.
Yeah.
So they get them to go to this big ass mansion in the middle of nowhere outside of campus, and this fucking rich elite Illuminati looking guys are supposed to be the fraternity leaders or the brothers, and they're gonna allow them to pledge.
Yeah.
And they start hazing the fuck out of them, and then it turns into a lot more serious than that. There's like murder. So
What? There's deaths involved?
People die in this movie?
Yeah.
Can't watch that.
It's got a pretty decent ending. I really like this movie. I really enjoyed it. I recommend watching it. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I keep seeing very good reviews for this movie, but looking at it, I just have no interest whatsoever in seeing it.
You got to watch it.
You'll
like it.
The whole plot is just like...
Oh, it's very much a stupid plot, but it's a good watch.
Like, I love that, though, when there's a stupid plot that becomes a good movie.
Did you ever watch that movie back, like 5 or 6 years ago, or even more, Conspiracy Theory, where the guys break into like a secret society thing? Yeah. It has that same feeling, but it's not,
because that movie looked awful.
But it's like that with teenagers. It has its funny moments, and I really enjoyed it. You should watch it.
I did watch. So, Eric, is that all you had?
That's it for today, folks.
That's all, folks. All right. Well,
What does that mean?
What?
When you say that?
Now it's your turn.
What does it mean when you say all?
You gotta
that's all
talk.
folks? Where was that?
You gotta talk.
Is that
You
from
gotta do
something? Or did you just make that up? Is that from something?
It's from.
What is it from? Like, if it was like you were like watching something and it was over, like what would it? What would it be watching? Like if that happened, like what?
I feel like I'm
What
getting harassed.
specifically? Right. What specifically is that from?
You're a fucking bully, bro.
Kinda.
All right. You got some dumb shit to say now? to segue?
No, he
Sarah Plain and Tall with demons.
Sarah Plain and Tall. She'll cut the kids' hairs and then she'll throw it out in the field, and the birds will use that to make their nest. Sarah Plain and Tall.
What is he saying?
It's a book. Sarah Plain and Tall.
It's a book.
You're not educated.
You're ignorant.
Ignorant.
Yeah.
Sarah Plain and Tall. Now we can. You may start going on about my thing. There's books involved. If that's gonna upset you, Stephen King. He's a writer. He's not one of your trap stars or whatever they are. He's not. This ain't Tricky Minaj or whatever you kids listen to. You're 69er. Those face tattoos and rainbow hair.
You need to give me a face tattoo.
Snitching. I'll give you a little diamond. I'll tattoo the that shitty Sublime sun that makes a face on your face.
Like that sun, the Sublime sun?
Yeah.
God damn it.
With the skeleton in the nose. The devil. I don't know what's in there. Fuck Sublime.
All right, doctor, you're needed. You're needed in surgery, stat. We need information about Pet Sematary. Go.
2.
Pet Sematary 2. I'm kind of going to have to... Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we all watched Pet Sematary, the remake. We're going to talk about that afterwards. Elliot, just does what he wants, so he just watched Pet Sematary 2.
I'm the wild card.
And he's going to tell us about it.
The AKA...
Oh, he's going to go into all of it.
I'm the deep dive.
He's going to even the documentary.
Even the documentary.
Dude, really?
No, I'm not going to go into that. But it is a good documentary.
Where can I find it? Where can you find Pet Seminary? Pet Seminary.
Pet Seminary.
That's going to be the title of the episode. Pet Seminary.
We're making that.
Poodle the Priest.
I'm gonna remake The Nun with dogs, and it's gonna be Pet Seminary. The Pet Sematary documentary was on Prime, is where I saw it.
I believe so. It might be on Shudder.
I doubt it. I
doubt
really
it
don't
too.
think so.
I just wanted to talk.
I know.
I just wanted to say something.
I know, baby. I know.
Since the remake came out, they pulled all Pet Cemeteries because they've been on Hulu for ever, and they pulled it all. Actually, my brother, who gave me the idea to do Pet Sematary 2, had to give me his Amazon account because he purchased it for like $3, I think, so I could watch it. Which is the only price to pay for Pet Sematary 2 is $3 or less. If you can find it for $5, okay, but I'm gonna start from. I'm gonna give you, because to get the Pet Sematary and to get to the remake, you need to know like the original. So in the 1989 Pet Sematary, the basic plot is a doctor moves to rural Maine in Ludlow to start a practice and finds out that his property has a pet cemetery, which is connected to a Indian burial ground, which if you bury something in there, it will return to life, and hijinks ensue. That is the basic plot to Pet Sematary 1989. If you haven't seen it, you're not going to like most of this podcast. Like, you should see it. You should see this.
See it before you even watch the remake, right?
I would. Okay, that said, in 1992, they did a sequel with the same director, Mary Lambert. I think those might be her only 2 movies. Other than that, she did a lot of like 80s music videos, like Paula Abdul and Madonna. And like that was it. And she directed these 2 movies and like, and okay, so this is not what you'd say a good movie. Like we did.
It's not what you would call a good movie.
Last time we did a failed bit of like guilty pleasures and what we liked, and I said like Hello Mary Lou and Sleepwalkers.
Yeah,
and then,
that's in a lost episode, which we may release.
Pet
someday,
Sematary 2 is very much on that guilty pleasure list. I love some Pet Sematary 2. I've seen it more than Pet Sematary 1.
When I was a kid, I fucking loved Pet Seminary. Pet Seminary 2. God damn it. Well, I thought it was scary as shit when I was a kid, but I tried to watch a little bit in October when I'm doing my 31 days of horror. I just had to stop because goddamn, it's cheese balls, dude.
Like, it is the quintessential, like, early 90s cheese ball horror.
It's a 90s B horror.
But it has some really redeeming qualities, and those, I'll get to that later. But basically the plot to Pet Sematary 2 was originally supposed to be a continuation of the first one where we're visiting Ellie as a teenager, dealing with the consequences of what happened in her childhood of Pet Sematary 1, where obviously a lot of people in her family died and then
brought back to life.
Brought back to life, and then some more people died. But
and
it was
hijinks.
Well, what happened to that?
Paramount Pictures did not want a female lead,
really,
in a movie, and so they switched it up to the genius move of Edward Furlong, who
played in Terminator 2, right?
Yeah, I think we can all agree is probably the most little shit actor of the early 90s.
Fun fact.
I love this fact.
I used to go to the boys club with him.
Didn't you kick his ass or something?
I'm not going to talk about that.
He deserved.
No, I think you really did. I think you were talking about how you kicked his fucking ass and fucking like.
He deserved it.
Could have been the other way around. I don't remember.
Oh, did you get your ass kicked by Edward Furlong? Did you?
Did he sit on you, dude? What's the deal? Tell me, Dish.
No. I knew him as a kid.
Tell me the story, Grandpa.
He's older than me. I knew him as a kid. He was a fucking bitch back then.
He's a bitch. Like, Grandpa, tell me that story when the little girl kicked your ass. And you're like, sit down, I'll tell you. Edward Furlong kicked my ass in the seminary school.
But so no female lead? That's interesting.
Yeah, so Paramount Pictures, you can write them letters.
Fuck them, dude.
So the Pet Sematary 2 plot ended up being Edward Furlong playing this kid, Jeff. And his veterinarian father.
This guy named Jeff.
Anthony Edwards.
Fucking typical.
They moved to Ludlow after fucking Jeff's mom, who's an actress, dies in an on-set accident, which is the stupidest way to start a movie. And so he moves to Ludlow, doesn't know anybody. He's sad. His mom's dead. He befriends...
He's sad. His mom's dead.
Yeah. He befriends this kid, Drew, who is the stepson of the town sheriff. They have run-ins with the school bully. And basically, like, Drew's dog dies. They bury it in the pet cemetery. They realize, like, oh, shit, you can bring shit back. So if anybody dies in this movie... they're going to go to the pet cemetery, and hijinks ensue.
What happens if you bury, like, an apple pie or something?
God damn it.
It would come back as, like, a pumpkin pie. Like, it's, like, the same thing, but not as good. If you buried a Whataburger, it would come back as a Carl's Jr.
I was waiting for him to say In-N-Out, and I was going to knock him out.
They got a new vegan burger. It's pretty dope.
Who does?
Carl's Jr. They just
came
came out with
Vegan burger?
Yeah, Beyond Burger.
It's fucking black.
Beyond. Speaking of Beyond,
Hijinks
ensue. That's gonna be like my catchphrase, like whammy or like boom goes the dynamite. I'll just be like hijinks ensue, and everybody's like, oh, the movie must be great. This movie is not great. The soundtrack has a lot of like early like alternative like just electric guitar soundtrack.
It's Bush.
No, they have fucking like Tracy Lords doing like her electronica music and like L7 and like fucking
the fuck?
Jesus and Mary Chain. Like,
what?
It has that's the soundtrack.
Banging soundtrack.
That is not a good soundtrack. Arguably not a good soundtrack. Other people might agree with liking. The redeeming points of this movie are very few, and they go as such. Clancy fucking Brown, like. If you don't know who Clancy Brown is, you know who he is. You've seen him. He played the Kurgan in Highlander, and he is fucking insane. Clancy Brown is actually the only three-dimensional character in the movie because he's kind of a dick. He's like really hard-nosed. He's hard on his like stepson Drew, but he's affectionate towards the mother, and he just like wants what's best. But he's like
typical '90s stepdad.
Yeah, he could be considered like a dick, but he's not really. He's just like
a stern dad.
He's just very stern, but he's not a dick. He's not cruel or mean to anybody, and he's pretty good. He's the only one in the movie that tries for the main accent, which is nice. Eventually, he dies, and the kids, because they're kids, bury him in the pet cemetery, and he comes back. And it's not like the first one where you got Gage who's just like killing. He's actually like pretty cool. He's like a different dude for a while. He's actually, a little bit nicer in some aspects. He kind of like switches roles.
They come out, I guess, to try to focus on it being the opposite them.
I guess so for a while. Eventually he just goes like pure evil, but he actually, rapes the mom in a scene. So he's more fucking like insane. Like like all his character choices are fucking crazy because he's like half funny. Like he's just fucking with people. It reminds me in the 1989 there's a story that Judd tells about Timmy Baterman who died in World War II and how his dad buried him and he came back to life and they like kind of coexisted until people had to step in and like deal with it because he was just like fucking shit up and was like evil and there's problems. And this kind of it's cool because it's kind of like an insight if there was like a Timmy Baterman movie of like how it focused, because Gus, the sheriff, Clancy Brown, just kind of like is left to his own devices, like kills off his family, like turns his house into like this like literal slaughterhouse and is just like chilling with like the evil dog Zowie. That's a really good part of this movie. It has some good like special effects.
That's what I remember. The dead looked way better in number 2. But I guess there was only one dead person.
I honestly enjoyed part 2 a lot more than the first one. I never liked the original Pet Sematary.
I think what screwed me up is the setup. That. The setup for the plot, like before anything happens, is just so cheese.
The end makes no sense and is stupid and cheesy. Oh. But like Clancy Brown is like when Clancy Brown's like chasing his family, there's like a huge there's like a shot for shot almost of like the shining of him like chasing them, and it's Clancy Brown's pretty fucking good, and this is the only probably good thing I could say about the movie. As if you need to watch a horror movie and Clancy Brown is worth watching it.
I will say he's a terrific antagonist, like really good bad guy, and he's like really chilling. Like his voice is chilling.
He's a big dude. He has like the classic voice. He's voiced over a lot of things. I'm sure he's been in a few cartoons. I think he's in like the Batman animated series or some shit like that.
Yeah.
He played a Viking in Pathfinder.
He's been in a lot of stuff, but you would have to look him up to recognize him, I think.
So that's pretty much it for Pet Sematary 2.
Whack.
Did you want me to go longer?
I just buttoned the mic up in my shirt.
I mean...
Yeah, cut that part out.
Yeah, I will. All right. So that's it for Pet Sematary. God damn it!
I got peanut butter in Rufus' mouth. I got Pet Seminary.
I swear to God, it's the headset that's fucking me up.
I think it's that Coke.
Look, man, my Coke problem is none of your fucking business.
My life's my life.
Was that Bon Jovi's?
Yeah,
Fun fact about Bon Jovi, he got his singing voice while mowing lawns as a youth. Sing over the lawnmower, learn how to sing.
Really?
It's a fact. Look it up. Fuck Bon Jovi, by the way.
Here's another Bon Jovi fact. I got married at the same chapel he did in Las Vegas.
No shit.
Yes,
you
sir.
got married in Vegas?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Did you win any money?
No, I won the love of my life.
He won something more than money, priceless.
I don't like it when you're sweet. I like it when you're it's weird when you're sweet. It throws me off.
It won his bride's hand in marriage, something you can't put a price on. So that's all I have for Pet Sematary 2. So now we should talk about Pet Sematary 2019, the new movie that just came out, the remake of the 1989 original that we all saw, and now we're going to discuss with our mouth hole.
So if you saw the first Pet Sematary, it's just like that, but different.
I mean, honestly, what's wrong about what you just said?
Okay, so 2019, it obviously for the people who might not have seen it and don't care, and we're going to spoil it for you, there are some changes in the 1989 film. Obviously, the little boy, Gage, is the one hit by the truck, and then Lewis buries him. He comes back to life, and hijinks ensue. And in this 2019 remake, it's obvious by the fucking trailers that Gage is not hit by the truck, but the older sister, Ellie, is hit by the truck, and she is buried. And that's probably one of the main things that was changed, but a lot of the scares and plot points were altered a little bit for obvious reasons, because nobody wants to go see a shot-for-shot of the 1989 film. For our friends and listeners who don't know what a Wendigo is, I'm going to give you a little...
Oh, yeah.
Wendigo.
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 It's a mythological creature from the Algonquin Native Americans. It basically it's like in a northern, like, Atlantic coast area. And it's kind of like a deterrent / punishment / like cautionary tale to like kind of like ward people away from taboos. like greed, consumption, and like cannibalism. Because it's this large, like stag-headed, horned, like emaciated creature that like feeds on people, and you can either like turn into it from like cannibalism or
Like in Ravenous.
I guess, yeah. But it's like this horned creature, and like it's like rotting and decaying, and the whole thing of it is like if there is a Wendigo, the more that it eats, the bigger it gets, so it can never like be full. So if it eats a whole bunch, it will like increase in size so that the stomach will be like proportionate. So like it'll still just be empty, and it's just this ever-consuming kind of horrible existence. Also, kind of like an evil spirit, monster type thing. So basically, the Wendigo in the movie is supposed to be like the cause of why the burial ground works, why people are being brought back to life. Like the whole ground is sour thing. In the book, it goes into the whole like backstory of like the Wendigo came down and it like took up roost there and like destroyed the land. They the Native American peoples, they left, and it had this influence over the land. So a lot of the bad luck and misfortunes of that area, and Stephen King is basically decimating New England in all his books, but that's that area in Ludlow is caused by the Wendigo's influence, and so he you bury something, he's the one that brings it back to life, he's the one controlling it. That's why they're taking the bodies in this one, which is not in the 1989, because Lewis was the one burying all the corpses to be reanimated. In this one,
he makes them do it.
It's the already reanimated corpses making new corpses. So that's
which is kind of to the point of Pet Sematary 2. That's what I liked about Pet Sematary 2 was more so.
Like the corpses making corpses.
Corpses making corpses, zombies making zombies.
Yeah.
They were led to do that.
And like the Wendigo, you could see a lot of there's a scene that supposedly has the Wendigo in this new movie, and it's like this like 60-foot tall horned creature. In the 1989, the Wendigo is never mentioned, but he's responsible for pretty much any kind of like draw towards the burial ground. They even say like the trucks drive faster when they get to Ludlow just because they have that compulsion. Mm-hmm. And so that's the ground is sour, the Wendigo kind of influence in the movie.
I'm just gonna deep dive right into spoiling it.
Do you want?
Is that a deep dive? Or is it just a spoiler?
I really like the way they made this movie. I honestly enjoyed the remake a lot better than the original. I was not a fan of the original because one of the main reasons is
it's a dog shit movie. It doesn't hold up.
Gage
was awful.
I don't give a fuck about it, little zombie boy. I mean, it reminded me of the Crazy Kid and what was that fucking movie, Peter Jackson movie?
Fucking Dead Alive?
Yeah, Dead Alive. Remember that little fucking baby? Like, that's all I thought about when I fucking saw that movie. Number one. Number one? No, why it's a lot better than the original.
Okay, let's do it.
Go.
It's a lot more modern. It fits a lot.
No shit.
It fits well to modern day a lot better.
Yeah.
And
I think the 1989 that was super 1989.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Maybe the actors.
Yeah.
See, the 1989, you got to think about they were using.
It was better.
The entire cast was television.
Who talks like
actors.
that? People in Maine.
People in Maine talk like that. But the entire cast was like TV actors.
I've never been to Maine, and I've never met anybody from Maine, but I'm pretty sure they don't talk like that.
They do because they do.
So what'd you like better about
what I really
one?
liked about this movie that I felt that they improved on a lot in the first one is the whole wearing of the masks and the ritual of burying the pets was creepy. I really like the way the wife's sister dies.
Zelda?
Yeah, in the dumbwaiter.
That was
I
good.
thought that was pretty fucking
When
good.
they had the flash, or like, I guess not a flash, but the vision with the medicine cabinet.
Yeah.
Where she opens it, it was just like, and she falls, and it's like boom, boom, and it just like switches. That was cool. That would scare me if I wasn't already dead inside.
The first guy that died that he tried to save, that they brought him. Victor Pascal. The part that I didn't like about it in the original was that character was very cheesy. And it just didn't fit to me in the original movie. It took away its creepiness by having him in there, kind of reminded me of Large Marge from the fucking Pee-wee movie, really.
They're both in a semi-truck eventually.
Yeah. Yeah,
Large Marge.
But I really enjoyed what they did with this movie. I liked it a lot more than the original, like I've said 7 times already.
No shit. So if you had to rate it, what would you rate this movie?
Overall, I'd say it's 7 out of 10.
Okay, yeah.
What about out of 100? A scale of 100, like 100% being perfect. What would you rate it?
73.
73%.
Oh, 73. Okay.
Yeah.
I see how you extrapolated that. You want to talk something, Hunter? You want to say something?
I thought we were going around the table. What are we doing?
We're going around the table, Hunter. Start talking about the movie you love.
So here are my thoughts on the movie. I thought it was kind of equal to the older movie.
In that they were both called Pet Sematary.
No. Here's the thing.
Like,
You're right.
I'm in the same
modern.
camp. I'm in the same camp as you are.
Yeah, when we'll get to that. It's my turn to talk, so.
Shut up.
Can I finish?
Go.
So
Start
I think they're
talking.
about equal, and here's why. There were things that I really fundamentally did not like about the original Pet Sematary, and there's things that I fundamentally don't like about this movie.
The first one was boring. Fuck you.
You're right. It really, that's very true. It was boring up until the end, and even at the end, I didn't like Gage. Like, Gage was not scary. He wasn't dead enough looking, and it just kind of came off cheesy. Like, I think most people will agree with this, but the whole appeal to Pet Sematary is the idea.
It's nostalgia. Yeah.
No. I just don't think that even back then, now correct me if I'm wrong, people that are older and saw it in theaters, but I can't see anybody seeing this movie for the first time and thinking like, oh shit, that was like a fucking fantastic movie. The concept is good. I still don't think the concept of Pet Sematary, the book, was executed as good as it could be. I will give you this. This movie, I do think it is better than the original in the fact that it's consistent. The old movie, not very consistent. Like, it had like really over the top parts, but for the most part, it was kind of a mixed bag of just stuff. So this newer movie was fairly consistent. You could follow it along really easily, and it was just kind of a whole cohesive tone, a whole cohesive experience. One thing I will say about the older movie over this one, I did not like how Zelda died in The Dumbwaiter.
That's where you're wrong.
So, and that's my right to be wrong.
It's not.
That's my God-given right.
You're not wrong because it's an opinion. He's just bullying, dude. Stand up
I know,
for
he's
yourself. Stand up, dude. Stand up.
I just can't.
It's your opinion.
He's giving me those eyes.
Opinions aren't wrong or right.
Those puppy dog bullying eyes. He's just like, you're stupid.
Eric, Hunter, speak your truth. Go.
So I'm going to speak my truth, okay?
Speak your truth, brother.
So the deal is, Zelda was not scary in this new movie.
She was not.
She was fucking terrifying in the Camp Fest. That was the 1989 version.
True that.
This version, not scary. Not scary at all.
Word.
Fucking insensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Zelda from the 1989 more.
That was the only scary part of the original, is her character.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
But they did it better in the original. Honestly, if the Zelda part was scarier, I truly would have liked it quite a bit more. That could have sent it over the top for me.
So why do all the people that die, like, see the future
Huh?
in this movie?
Yeah. So the Wendigo thing, the whole, like, moving force behind the whole Pet Cemetery thing.
Gosh.
They should.
The whole moving force behind it is way better in the remake.
Yes.
Because it's
Overall,
consistent.
this movie's way better than the original.
Honestly, really, you're kind of right, because the only bad part is Judd. I fucking hated Judd in this movie. I really didn't like him. I didn't think he was a good actor choice at all. And he's a big part of the movie. So if they would have cast somebody more like the original Judd and fixed Zelda and made her creepy and terrifying, the movie literally would have been like an 8.
That was a big fault in this movie, because in the original, he knew more exactly what was going to fucking happen if you buried dead people.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy had no clue. I mean, in the original, he's kind of a dick for making the guy bury the fucking cat knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But in this one, he kind of explains, my dog was an asshole, so I just thought that's why he was a bigger asshole when he came back, but your cat was cool, and I thought it'd still be cool. So, you get play off some of the innocence there as to why he had him bury the cat in the first place. But I would have liked that he would have known a little bit more about what happens when you bury people.
I didn't like Judd. I don't understand why his face was so heavy in makeup and weathered, and why he was just... I guess because you can't fill, like, Fred Gwynne's shoes. But I like the fact that Fred Gwynne...
He was a size 18.
He was a huge dude. Do you see how big that dude was? Yeah. I bet he had a size 18, and I bet he was swinging a donkey dick, like...
Massive thigh slapper.
Yeah, because it's down to his knees. Tripod. But like you can't redo that character.
We had to have some kind of dick talk.
I'll dick talk.
Come on, it's time for Dick Talk.
Dick Talk. That's the other podcast. It's gonna be I'm Hunter and welcome to Dick Talk. I like the Judd in the 1989 because like he's a quiet old man. His house seems lived in. He seems true, and he just is this wealth of information where he's like an old man just telling these stories, talking about Timmy Baterman, how like, hey, when I said nobody ever buried a human up there. Guess what? They did bury a human up there, and it came back. He had these stories, and he was giving you everything you needed. And in this remake, he's just like this sad old man
His wife died.
Who just seems like he's led around by the Wendigo because they're going to bury the cat. And then he's all like, let's go over here and bury it on this deadfall. And it's just...
Because Ellie was the first person to touch his heart in a long time. He said it.
Yeah, which actually adds to your point because he really is just like a sad
He's
old,
a sad, broken
guy.
old fucking dude. And like, obviously he misses his wife. He's always
he misses human interaction.
Yeah, and so
Still
like...
has pictures up and shit.
Who keeps a picture of their dead wife? Thank you. That's why they have closets. Cantarian demons.
My favorite part is when the wife asks Judd, they said our property comes with 50 acres? So it's like, all that shit ours or what? Yeah, it's yours.
He's like, more than you even want to know.
Ooh.
Who buys that?
Ominous answer.
50 fucking acres. Like, yeah, all that shit's yours. Like, don't even ask.
He's like, how many acres you got, Judd? I got like 2.
I got
Dick.
2 acres.
Fucking dick.
Yeah, I know, it's a fucking dick move.
Technically, you own my property.
Please don't kick me off.
Judd, the storyteller, like in this one, Lewis has to find all that out on the internet. And then they mention the Timmy Baterman story, but he just kind of like mumbles past it. I think they knew filling Fred Gwynne's shoes was not going to work.
So they tried to like reimagine Judd.
Yeah, I think like...
I mean, he was a hell of a baseball player with the Padres.
What?
Fred Gwynne. He was a baseball player with the
Was
Padres. Yeah, dude. Oh, it's Tony Gwynn. Never mind.
One last thing, though, that really would have sent it over the top for me. Pascal. I think the opposite to what you were saying about Pascal. I thought in the original he was very creepy.
In the beginning. But then he stopped being creepy. Then it's just an ongoing joke.
Is he supposed to be creepy or is he a plot device?
But he's both. I thought he was creepy because the actor was like sinister creepy. Like
He's wearing short shorts.
Yeah.
And like
he looked like
socks.
nuts. This Pascal was like creepy, like he looked like a zombie, and he was barely in the movie. They didn't use him as a plot device. I actually liked when they used him as a plot device in the original. And by the way, the new movie did the initial death scene way fucking better, where his fucking brain's exposed and then just he looks awesome.
He's like seasoned. He's like kind of like
he's like seasoned out. He looks fucking creepy as shit when he's doing it.
Seasoned.
But every other part where he's in the movie, it's just like he doesn't say shit. Like the other one had a lot more dialogue, and I enjoyed that more. I get it though. I get why they did that. They had to change it up. But long story short, I would say now that you mention it, I really do like this one more than the original. And honestly, if they combined all of the original elements that I liked in the first one to this one, it probably would have been a perfect movie. Like a perfect Pet Sematary.
Man, they should
That's
have
all I got to
fucking
say about that.
consulted you first.
I know,
agree
dude.
about that.
Honestly, it's little stuff, though.
It's always a little thing.
I know.
So it's my turn.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna like seem like an asshole.
Go ahead and bore us to death.
I could just be like the gore bore, like why I bore you to death on that stupid shit. Can I do that?
The Gorbor Corner.
The Gorbor Corner. Things I liked about this movie, and things I hated about this movie. I didn't like Church the cat.
I didn't like Church either.
I think that was kind of like a whole, because that cat is more iconic, I think, than anything in Pet Sematary or anything anybody knows about Pet Sematary. The 1989 Church cat, that was short blue hair, was infinitely more. And they'd shine lights in his eyes to make his eyes glow the whole film, which they just didn't do in this one. It's just this like nasty, raggedy, tabby cat.
If they would have changed the eyes, or at least like made them saturated or something like
computer,
that.
skills to do that now. And you could I could see it definitely being like an artistic choice of like a director being like, I want like a ratty looking cat. I want this cat to look like it's like nappy and like brought out of the dirt. So I could see that, but I didn't care for that. I liked the inclusion of the Wendigo, the fact that, that's explained. Did not like the ending to this movie. It was very new school horror ending.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I walked away from it being like, it's about the same. If they would have ended it a different way, then I probably would have liked it more. But I like it and I don't, because when I see them all walking up, the whole family just walking up all undead, I'm just like, oh, that's kind of cheesy. But then like when
let's
you realize,
bring everybody back from hell.
When you realize that it's the whole family coming up to this fucking baby, they're about to fucking kill this baby and convert this baby into a zombie. When I think about that, like what's going to happen, I'm like, okay, that's pretty crazy.
It just seemed too like slick Rockstar. I think there were multiple endings. I think they shot 2 or 3 different endings for the movie, and that's what they went with. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be alternate endings on like a Blu-ray that eventually comes out.
Yeah.
From what I've read about it, the choice of making Ellie the zombie child and having her being able to be like self-aware and have like a dialogue and be like more menacing as opposed to Gage also changed like how the ending would go. Like once you make Ellie come back instead of Gage, you've just changed, like there's no way you can like do the original ending. You just changed the whole fucking thing. A lot of this movie seemed forced, like it's the only way you could do it. You got to keep Gage alive and kill Ellie to have anything. You can't have fucking a cool Judd because you had a badass Judd, so just make it a broken Judd. I was torn on the Pascal. I was torn on the Zelda. I actually like the fact that Zelda played a bigger role because it explained Rachel's apprehension to like death and not explaining death to her children. Like that was a good fucking subplot that wasn't in the original.
Because the original had a lot of fucking realistic plot holes.
Had a lot of plows. Fucking Zelda in the original
didn't react like real people in the original.
The fucking original Zelda was like the Phoebe Cates Gremlin story where she just like sits down and like tells like this crazy fucking story and then like that's
and she's just totally straight faced. She's just like, and you're just like, what the fuck did I just see?
Yeah,
there was really no point to it in the original.
Yeah, there's fucking no point.
Exactly.
It was just to be like the scariest, most fucked up thing in the movie.
Yeah. It shouldn't have been since it's just
like what we're going through. Let me tell you a little story.
Like if you could combine 1989 and 2019, it'd be like the perfect film. So like I'm kind of in the same camp as you, as where like I think it's as good as the 1989. Granted, it's like it's slicker because it's obviously it's a new movie.
Yeah, I would have liked a little bit more grit because it kind of felt like Insidious. Like if they would have made it more like Grit City. If the tone was just a little bit different.
If you can, like, it replaced the camp of the 1989 with, like, just the slickness of, like, new school. If you combine the two movies, this would be a perfect movie.
Yeah, that's what I
like. A lot of people were expecting, like, the It treatment, and I think that's
what I was expecting.
What why the box office was so big, because people are expecting, like, the It treatment, but it kind of got, like, the Carrie remake treatment.
That's very true. It did get the Carrie.
Like there's
even if you think about the ending, it's like
a lot because a lot of people are gonna get upset because they had the Achilles heel scene like that. They set it up and then they like bait and switch, and I could see a lot of people get mad. It can't be the same movie. Like how are you expecting to scare people that are gonna know like a classic through and through?
Speaking of that, I really love that Ellie is like the embodiment of the Wendigo spirit. Like how she can become and transform like Judd's dead wife's face, like on her face.
Yeah,
it's fucking nuts.
They had that in the one of the scarier scenes in the original where Rachel is going into Judd's house to like because Gage is there, and she's confronted with her sister who like rushes the camera, which fucking scared me as a kid because any creepy thing charging you is the worst.
And they kept
thing
the camera like in a fucking weird like fisheye, and then she just like ran over.
Yeah, so it's not just a zombie. There's like a supernatural element to these things, and that's all credit to the Wendigo. A lot of Easter eggs in this movie. A lot of Easter eggs. There's a traffic jam, and there's a sign for like Derry, which is the town from It. Judd was telling somebody about Cujo, another Stephen King book and film adaptation. If you don't know Stephen King, all his books take place in the shared universe in New England.
In Maine.
Pretty much. And that area. And so in the book they talk about Cujo. He's like, there's a big rabies problem here, and he talks about the film Cujo, and he talks about hints to other things. A bull that was brought back to life, which is another nod to the book where the dude like buried his prized bull, and it was supposed to be like in the book it's the worst things to ever come back. It would like charge anything, and eventually just like fucked its head up so much from charging that they had to like put it down. It's like no one knows how the fuck he got a bull up there, but he did, and it came back and like fucking raised some shit in the town. So in this movie, I was looking for these things.
Everything Stephen King is.
I've heard talks of already like depending on the success of the movie is like a prequel. If they're doing a prequel, they could touch on that Timmy Baterman story, which they updated in this one. Instead of a World War II veteran, he's a Vietnam, or I guess not veteran, but he's a casualty of war. So
which is pretty much the same
60s.
concept as what Pet Sematary is based on, which is the monkey's paw. Like, y'all know about the monkey's paw story, right?
You wish it, and then it flips you off, and then something happens bad about that wish.
Yeah,
I seen The Simpsons.
The Simpsons,
I know. We all know The Simpsons.
Simpsons
it's exactly The
ripped it
Simpsons. We're talking about The Simpsons.
I don't know about The Simpsons now.
So
The turkey's a little dry.
No!
So the monkey's paw, if you don't know what that is, it's an old fable where a family, it's a husband, wife, son, and the son is off to war. Somehow they get a monkey's paw. I think they buy it from like a consignment store, and the paw is supposed to have some, magical powers. It'll grant you some wishes. So they have this, and they're like, well, we don't believe this is going to work. And they get notification that their son is missing in action and is presumed dead. And so they're just fucking crushed. And I think it's the mom. The mom just ends up wishing on the monkey's paw. And then the son comes back just like how Gage came back in the original 1989 version. He looks dead. He's covered in dirt and everything. And it's really horrifying. And then that's the end of the monkey's paw fable. It's like they don't come back the same. Fun fact. That's actually what Jordan Peele's production company is named after. The Monkey's Paw Productions, named after that fable.
What?
Yeah.
I'm kind of relieved to talk about a movie this week that doesn't have like high symbology.
Yeah.
But it's chock full of Easter eggs. So.
Yeah. Nice change of pace for sure.
But I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was probably one of the better movies I've seen.
Yeah, any of the better remakes for sure. Like it's up there. If this was the original Pet Sematary movie, like they didn't have an original one, I don't know if I'd like it as much as I do, but compared to how bad the first one actually is, it's better.
I mean, yeah, they go hand in hand. They're crappy if they stand alone.
Yeah, the thing is, in the original, I don't know if y'all will agree, but the only good actor was Judd. That's it. Everybody else was a garbage actor, except for Zelda. Whoever played Zelda, that was dope.
It was a stunt.
Oh, and Pascal, yeah, he was all right.
The worst was the mother in the first one.
The mother and the dad.
The dad was all right. The mother was just
he did
agree.
like, I hate, what's his fucking face? In the new one, Jason Clarke.
Who the fuck's...
Lewis Creed, the main character, the dad, Lewis Creed.
Oh,
I do not fucking like him. I wish they would have got anybody else.
He was in Winchester, remember? He basically played the same character, except he drank in Winchester.
I do not like him. The casting of the new Pet Sematary, maybe it's just all bad, except for maybe Ellie, who's a child that can act. I love that lazy eye, the little fucked up eye. Fucking love that.
They did
fantastic.
Ellie way better than they ever could have done Gage back in 1989.
Even in 1989, it was like a Chucky puppet for half the fight scene. So that's one of those things where it works.
No, they literally had a good guy doll on set. It was nuts.
It works in a book because you use your mind and
you can't use your mind in a movie.
You can't use your mind in a fucking movie. You gotta fucking show it. You gotta show it. It's either you're gonna have a CGI Gabe doing ninja flips out of the attic,
Hell yeah. You know what I've been wondering is if in the book, because none of us have read the book, I don't think, maybe they intentionally wrote that entire family to be extremely boring.
Why don't you read the book and tell us?
Maybe I will.
It's probably just supposed to be your everyday wholesome family corrupted, which is like all Stephen King does is like presents you this like normal family and then like corrupts it.
That's a good point. Yeah. Anything else we have to say about it?
That's all I have to say about
it. It's
that.
Decent. It's not the best.
But is it worth what it comes down to is...
Fuck yeah, watch it. It's good.
I think so. If you were disappointed by the original, watch this one. If you liked the original, give this one a shot still.
I'm disappointed by each for different reasons.
Me too. But you look on the negative
never
side.
Satisfied.
I already said I liked it. It was not as... I heard 0 good reviews about Pet Sematary 2019. I haven't seen one good...
I have.
Nobody I've talked to, and none of the things that I've seen, all I heard was like it's a box office smash, but I've not heard anybody say anything good about it. And I went with like low hopes because I knew it was gonna suck. And
it was a lot better than I've seen some dog shit reviews for it. I went into it expecting like a pretty fucking good remake,
and you got it.
Honestly, yeah, just not in the way that I was expecting. If that makes sense, like.
Could have had more Ramones.
Well,
that was kind of fucked up that they cut the whole... He was listening to the Ramones when he fucking hit the baby.
Oh, was he listening to it?
Yeah.
Sheena was texting him.
Yeah, he got a call from Sheena. Yeah, and then in the 1989 film, the truck driver was distracted because he was speeding and listening to the Ramones. Sheena's a punk rocker. And then 2019... the truck driver is distracted by getting like a text or a call from a girl named Sheena, which is kind of just like an Easter egg nod. And then they end the film, in credits with Pet Sematary by the Ramones, but it's a cover Starcrawler who's blowing up right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of them.
They had a couple of hits and they were on like a Distillers tour not too long ago.
Oh, okay.
There's a psychobilly band called Hellcat and the Prowl that does a badass Pet Cemetery, which I recommend more than
hell yeah.
the fucking Starcrawler.
Bro.
But I thought it was an okay movie. I'm torn. I'm basically torn. I liked the movie. They gave us free posters when we went to the movie theater, which pretty much like solidified that.
Yeah, merch. Yeah, merch seals the deal.
Yeah,
By the way, if y'all want some merch, we're going to be at Texas Frightmare Weekend. Let us know if you want some merch.
Where are you going to get merch? You making merch?
If you want some buttons, I can make buttons all day. Just let us know you're going, and we'll meet up, and I'll give you some buttons and stuff. You can pass them to your friends. Pass them out. All right. So I guess that's all for Pet Cemetery in general.
Next episode, we're going to be doing La Llorona. Hopefully, Elliot can do some research on some myths.
Yeah.
I come from a Spanish-speaking family. I already know a lot about La Llorona.
He does.
You ever been You ever been on a fucking boat in Panama and like one of your fucking cousins drops the La Llorona bomb on you?
Yeah.
I shit my pants. We went to a river that day. I mean,
is your mom from Panama?
She was born in Panama, yeah. Yeah, Spanish is spoken in my family.
What? I'm learning a lot about you.
I get birthday cards in Spanish all the fucking time. Like birthday cards. Feliz cumpleaños and stuff.
We get it. You got a lot of people that love you.
I have an abuelita who's my grandmother. She's super old. She'll forget and she'll just speak Spanish to you.
Okay.
Because she's so old.
He laughs because she's so old.
She's so fucking... But she's going to live to be... I also have my great-grandmother. Her name is Mama Waka. Because it's Joaquina. Her name is Joaquina. Mama Waka.
Oh my God.
Her ghost visited my mother twice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Was she creepy? Because ghosts are supposed to be creepy.
My mom said no. She said she was just like there, and then she
not
was
real.
Like, what's
not
up?
A real ghost.
Didn't really happen.
No.
Gotta be creepy.
Gotta be creepy.
Man.
So yeah, hey, if you don't know, we're on Instagram.
No, say
once again.
No, say
at Cult of Horror TX.
Say join the cult.
Join the cult.
Join the cult.
Don't say it like a douchebag. Say it like sell it like.
It's impossible.
Hey guys, can you join the cult, please?
Guys, hey, join my cult. Hey. No, but yeah, if you want to join a cult, join ours. All right. So to join the cult, give us a like on Instagram.